Beautiful conditions in the Victorian capital of Melbourne in Australia at the State Netball and Hockey Centre for a momentous occasion, particularly in the history of Belgian hockey. The first time they've played at the Champions Trophy, and what an assignment for them, taking on the most successful nation in this tournament, the hosts Australia. So that's coming up shortly. Let's have a look at what we've got to come later today. It's England taking on India. That will complete Pool A, and that's the fourth of the four matches on this opening day of the 2012 tournament. And already this morning we've seen a couple of matches, starting with the Dutch, the silver medalists from the Olympics, taking on Pakistan, and they went one down early on, with Pakistan opening the account through Wakas, but then the Dutch system got going despite having a number of new players. 3 penalty corner conversions. 2 of them were a bit of a scramble. 1 was a direct goal, but from the penalty corner, the Netherlands made it count, and Devane scored a double as the Dutch won it by 3-1. Hertzberger slamming home the decisive third goal for the Netherlands. So that was the opening game of the tournament, and it was quickly followed by the clash, as we see the scorers there. Devane with 2, Hertzberger 1, and Mohamed Umar credited with the goal for Pakistan. And we're going to the anthems after earlier Germany survived a scare from New Zealand. Belgian anthem on a very important day in Belgian hockey. Quentin Hull and David Wansborough to take you through this match. David, what a moment for this building hockey nation of Belgium.
Absolutely fantastic for them. They've come out of their European winter and they've met the sunshine. And they're also going to meet a very powerful Australian hockey team. But don't, because you haven't heard much about the Belgians, take them for granted. This will be a terrific match. They've got some very talented players. They performed extremely well in London. So this will be a high quality match of hockey.
Finished 5th at the London Olympic Games. The Australians taking home the bronze medal, and as ever, plenty of support for the locals here, the Australians. It was a couple of years ago here in Melbourne, 2009, a part of what was the second leg of their 4-year domination of this tournament, looking to make it 5 in a row this year. So the sun beating down in Melbourne and all in readiness for this match between the Kookaburras and the Red Lions. Australia versus Belgium, and the Australians to be captained by the 5-time Player of the Year, Jamie Dwyer.
One of the greatest players that Australia's produced, and he's in as good a form as he's ever been. We saw him last week in Perth. He was in great goal-scoring form. There's some real talent on that side, on the bench and on the field.
10 members of the London Olympic squad in the Australian lineup. While for the Belgians, well, also a good smattering of the team that took 5th place at the London Games.
A couple of real talented players there. Number 4, Sebastian Dokia. Also, Tom Boone, number 10, exceptional forward.
Conditions could hardly be better. Bit of cloud cover, sun beating down, and a pretty good crowd in attendance. So the Kookaburras and the Red Lions campaigns are underway at the 2012 Champions Trophy. Australia embarks on a quest for what it hopes will be a 5th consecutive Champions Trophy, and the first ever time at this prestigious tournament for Belgium. The Australian in their gold and the Belgians in their red, attacking the left of screen. And this is Gunyar controlling in midfield. What style of play can we expect from the Belgians, David Wansborough?
Well, no great surprise. They're located next door to the German and Dutch leagues, and a lot of the players play in those leagues. So tactically, you'll see them mix up whether they press or fall away. They'll be very conscious of the Australians' ability to press, so they'll try and shift the ball away from the numbers. Australia love to get players around the ball to get turnovers, so they'll be aware of that. They've got some technically very good players, very skillful, and it's almost as if you're watching a Dutch side play sometimes.
And of course coached by the Dutchman Mark Lammers, replacing Colin Batch, who's moved to New Zealand, but Lammers with most notably great success with the Dutch women's team.
Yeah, well, they had a very good program off-field. They've got some good coaches in, Colin Batch, Jay Stacey, Adam Commons have all been involved, and they've got some good structure around their off-field stuff, and no surprise they're producing some very good hockey teams.
So Matty Swan working hard on the defensive 25 for the Kookaburras. Just trying to get the Australians out of trouble.
Have to say too, in these conditions, the Belgians have come out of a pretty cold winter, and Australia the advantage of training and preparing games in hot weather and high tempo. So it'll be interesting how both teams adapt.
Ockenden on the ball, and a little touch there looking for Jason Wilson. But the Belgian defence, well, firm for a moment, but the whistle against Reckinger, and here's a chance for Australia. The swivel and shot is not on goal from Eddie Ockenden, but deflected. Australia's ball from the side.
Just see how keen they were to take that free hit quickly.
Oh, and Sorello's ball had Dwyer looming at the low post, and a penalty corner has been earned by the Kookaburras. Rick Charlesworth watching on from high in the stands.
And that's for a lifted ball. You'll see the pass very quickly. First time, I think, was from Sorello, and Dwyer making sure he was on the hot spot. Ball lifted. He's appealed there for the lifted ball. Umpire saw it. I think that the challenge for the Belgians will be playing at this tempo. Australia loves to take the free hits quickly, and they've got to concentrate the whole time. Otherwise, they could get overrun.
What was your assessment of the Kookaburras' penalty corner battery in London?
Look, there's no doubt they're hard to win, or they're very hard to win. They only had 2 or 3, and it's a matter of getting the conversions up. But there's real pressure on, we always think about the goalkeeper, but a lot of pressure on the striker. Chris Sorello, you'll see on screen here. He's still pretty young in terms of international experience, so this is the tournament for him to really continue to improve.
A Melbourne boy, one of the main drag flickers, Sorello. And here he is here. First attempt, very close to the line, and it is a goal, is it? Or a penalty corner. Another penalty corner's been awarded.
Australians are asking, should it be a penalty stroke? You'll see a ball flick up off the stick onto the body. It's a question of whether the ball was going into the net and the body stopped it, so it went through the keeper. Like it certainly it hit a foot. It's a question of whether it hit the foot on the line.
It was Arthur Van Doren right on the last line.
But no, they've decided to retain the corner. Interesting, as that corner was taken, Eddie Ockenden, he did this in London. And it's obviously a tactic not just from Australia. You see he moved around as the trap was taken. Well, that's probably the correct decision. I think it's hit the hand on the stick and then rolled onto the foot. Very difficult to call whether that was dribbling in or not.
So forward again to bring in for the Kookaburras. Ockenden traps. Sorello! That one's into the body of the keeper and safe. Scurried away momentarily, but the tomahawk strike goes home from Glenn Simpson. And the Melburnian scores Australia's opening goal of the Champions Trophy in his hometown.
No wonder he's smiling. It's a pretty good moment, isn't it? Has never played here before in front of his home crowd. And here he is on the rebound. You'll see initially a good save, and I think Fergus Kavanagh missed the ball. Wilson, it was, gets out the way, and Simpson good enough and just took his time to get balanced. And these players are so proficient with their tomahawk. You'll see here the initial rebound missed. The players get out the way, including Russell Ford, Simpson down low. And enough room to score.
Had only a little channel, and well may he pump his fist to open Australia's account. Fantastic feeling for the 25-year-old electrician at his first Champions Trophy.
Well, he was a guy that was in the squad leading up to the London Olympics and wasn't lucky enough to make that team, so that would have been difficult, but that's a nice way to start this tournament.
Well, bone creating here for Belgium, but not controlled by Jerome Tryans. And this is the challenge for Belgium, a new stage for them, taking on the hosts and four-time reigning champs first up. Now a goal behind early. They just need to compose themselves, try and not let the crowd and the great skill of the Australians overwhelm them.
I like the fact there, though, they pressed up and tried to almost do what the Australians do. They got right up in the face of the Australian defence.
That's good skill from Govers. There's Carroll, and a bit of composure here for the Australians. Fergus Kavanagh. A long ball through from Knowles. Dangerous to the top of the D. Mittens there. He has a shot, and it deflects off bodies, does it? A free hit to Belgium.
The Australians had their hands in the air looking for the penalty corner, but that ball was hit high. Not going at the net means that, I think it was just going wide, means it was deemed dangerous. Almost impossible for the umpire at the goal scoring end to pick what line that was on. He does need the help of the umpire in the other half.
So this is Felix Denayer now out to the right, and just a mistrap from Doman in midfield, and it caught a part of his foot as well. So John Doman, with a poor piece of skill there, allows Dwyer to take the auto pass. Links with his in-laws, and through Knowles it goes out to the right. This is Keele Brown. Knowles back to Brown. Time for Kavanagh, and the Belgians, well, they've only got probably the minimum required in midfield. They are quite deep in defence as Carroll goes on a dribbling run inside the 25 to the D. Carroll just can't link up, but finds a foot. Takes the hit quickly. Govers down low, he's got support, and Mitten just couldn't find a pass or a shot on goal, but a long corner to the Kookaburras, who have opened in sizzling fashion here.
And a good tackle from De Sadlier. Govers had actually turned him inside out. It looked like it was going to be an easy corner. He managed to get down low, and those tackles are so important because you convert, or you concede a penalty corner with a sloppy tackle, you give away a really dangerous opportunity. So an excellent tackle from the Belgian.
So they bring it all the way back to halfway, and now reset the attack. Govers the target over the side. Kavanagh. And couldn't find Jacob Wetton on the back line.
Gee, it's hard after watching the nine-a-side last week not to think there's a lot of players out there, and the high forward rule we had last week where a player had to sit in the forward half really made a difference. It meant that we just saw the Belgians there, all 11 players back in the defensive 25. Couldn't do it on that occasion, so it's interesting where the game goes, the rules with less players on the field.
Well, Orchard doing well there, but couldn't find a target. Here's Van Strijdonk towards the D, but well defended, and it releases the Australians out on the left-hand side of the pitch. A long ball. Well, it's going to be a penalty corner here because Jamie Dwyer was shepherded away from that ball.
Well, in fact, the rule is with lifted ball, the defender needs to be 5 yards from the player playing the ball, and he made no attempt to do so. So what a toss it was from Govers. Dwyer running on the angle, got to the ball first. The defender needs to be 5 yards away from the ball. Well, you don't see it that often in such a position, and correct call made. Australia gets an opportunity with a penalty corner, but that ability of Govers, there he was in virtually defensive midfield, throwing a 50-metre toss to Dwyer on the lead. And notice Jamie Dwyer today already playing a fair bit higher, starting off as a high striker, and I like that role for him because he's so creative.
He'll bring the ball in from the back line here. Govers at the top of the battery this time. Brown and Orchard set, but it looks like Brown's going to trap.
Both Govers and Cirillo are strong flickers for Australia. In fact, they've got a number of options, but that'd probably be the two highest ranked flickers.
So Dwyer brings in. It is Kieran Govers, down low and deflected behind by the keeper, Vincent Van Asch. So they survived the penalty corner, Belgium. But Australia to come again. Matt Swan with great stick skill. Carroll. And Swan just attacked, and that was good play from Gautier Bocard, and he can go over halfway. The dump and run. Guignard's ball just misses. Denier down low.
Good feeling here the Australians might have been looking for a little variation, a little tip in. No, in fact, was going for the low flick in the corner, but didn't quite get the contact he wanted, Kieran Govers.
Well, that's a poor clearance from Cirillo, and it gives Belgium a chance here. Alexandre De Pauw into the circle, but Knowles comes away with consummate professionalism. Oh, and finds a target too. But unfortunately for Mitten, just couldn't control it on his stick. Mark Knowles, the brother-in-law of Jamie Dwyer. Another member of the family is not here. Matty Godis having a rest, who's Jamie Dwyer's cousin.
It was interesting. We've talked to Mark Knowles and Jamie Dwyer through the week leading to this tournament, and they're both getting to the end of their careers, but they've been incredibly good players for Australia. But Mark Knowles saying to me that he probably thinks he's in as good a form as he's been in, and it's pretty remarkable given what he's achieved. He'd be entitled to be feeling a bit flat post-London, but he's come here absolutely pumped. These guys just love playing in front of their home crowd, and I mean, that's also a great opportunity for Belgium too, isn't it, to come up against the best or one of the best in the world. So
Xavier Reckinger with the long clearance there, doesn't find a target downfield. This Knowles is still only 28 years of age, even though he's played more than 200 times for his country. Here's Simon Orchard from Maitland in New South Wales over the halfway. He runs on in support as well. It's good work from Simon Orchard. Govers. And all the way back to Cirillo. Tristan White. Bones in front of him. White working there with Simpson, but the Belgians on it in the corner and winning the free hit. A chance to clear. The early goal to Australia, to Glenn Simpson, through 4 minutes. It's been absolutely scorching in Melbourne this week. The sun's out, but it's not as hot as it has been in the Victorian capital. Started the day with a few clouds around and a little cool, but in the heat of the day now, long clearing ball downfield, just misses Cedric Charlier.
Well, it was 41 on the Thursday, 2 days before the tournament. I think some of these European teams would have been wondering what they'd struck, but today is certainly more pleasant. And having said that, it's warm, and you can see the Australians are trying to move this ball around and really stretch the Belgians.
Quick ball slapped in by Felix Denier, but Charlier, the target, unable to get a shot on goal. It's no matter what, it's a big shot for the Northern Hemisphere nations coming to Australia this time of year, and to be confronted with this type of condition. I don't know whether that was a dummy or a miss from the Seedler from Belgium. Here's Dokier. Good pressing run down the right towards the back line and beyond. Flipped it back. He was looking for Charlier, but just couldn't find him with the pass. And, well, the Australians survive.
I think in the end there, he's trying to find a foot and earn the penalty corner. The Australians made sure they got their feet out of the way, and that's so important for a defender. To be able to run with a player, not overbalance, and not let the ball hit their feet.
Denier. Oh, that's a good piece of combination, and Charlier wins the penalty corner for Belgium.
Oh, outstanding play from the Belgians. Lovely little 1-2. We talked about their skill before the game. Denier particularly. Just a lovely little wall pass here. Interchange of passes, and that one comes off the foot, just under the kneecap. So the ball then fell free and almost had a field shot, but...
Well, is there a referral here by the Australians? Are they... Oh, no, there's no referral. There's a delay because the gloves and the face masks are just being delivered.
Gee, they're soft, these guys. In my day, we didn't need it, but that's what's become this game. The power of the flicker in penalty corners now in world hockey is so immense that the game has got to a stage where the players do need to kit up, and they'll all put face masks and protectors on here. The idea it should be behind the goals before a game means that there's not these sorts of delays, so that'll hopefully be sorted out for the next penalty corner. But the Belgium's got a very good penalty corner flicker in number 27, Tom Boone. Scored a lot of goals in the European League, scored a lot in London. I'm sure George Baisley, this will be a big challenge here.
It's Baisley in goal at this tournament, following the retirement of Nathan Burgess. So the first penalty corner for Belgium. And kicked away by Baisley. It was low and hard from Tom Bone. You chose it, David. You got the right man.
Yeah, good save from George Baisley. Real confidence built early in the tournament. Low and hard, not easy to save, especially for a tall goalkeeper.
And is that deliberately over the back line? No, it's not. That was close to another penalty corner there, and they're going up for the referral. Yes, John Doman wants the referral. Here's the replay.
I think you'll find as the Australians go to clear, it hits the Australian on the foot. And I think they'll have a pretty good case here, the Belgians.
So another penalty corner coming up for Belgium.
And with the tall goalkeeper, we saw Boone go low on the first corner. That makes sense to me because naturally harder for a tall goalie to get down low. They typically find it easy to save the high ball. Boone's still there, 27 on the top of the circle. I'd imagine they'd stick with him. They will have variations they can use, but I think with a guy as good as Boone, they'll probably give him one more shot.
Only 22 years of age, Tom Bone, but has already played more than 100 times for his country. Variation, and well, just kept out by Baisley. It wasn't Bone on the left. It was Hendricks, I think, on the right with the drag flick. And George Baisley did very well to keep it out.
Well, they've used the second battery, the wider battery, trying to change the angle of the shot there, and Baisley did do well. It was sort of that mid-range height to his left side, so two good saves from George Baisley.
There's Bone putting it in, and off the foot of Cedric Chalier. But.
Well, this is...
Here's the last corner. We've got another penalty corner coming up here. And, oh, it almost got through Baisley and just escorted away by Keel Brown. And here's a referral coming up.
I think what you'll find here, the Belgians threw that ball into the circle and it took a rebound or a ricochet and then did eventually go to a Belgian player's foot. You'll see here the ball just flicked in about ankle height and it looked like it came off an Australian foot. In fact, it came off a stick onto the Belgian's foot. So
that looks like it's going to be turned down, that referral. Certainly on that angle anyway.
I think what it does remind us is the speed of this game. So
did it get the right ankle of Knowles? Second replay was from a better angle. It was a source of frustration and has been a source of frustration at all tournaments where the referral system has been introduced. The time taken to get a decision.
So here it comes in on the angle. Initially it just deflects off an Australian stick there. Does it hit the foot there before it hits the Belgian foot? That's the question that needs to be answered.
Well, on that angle it doesn't look like it, but on the previous angle we saw it, it looked a bit more likely.
Well, if it's hard at slow-mo, imagine how hard it is at full speed. So
to Australia. So referral turned down. Opening match of the Champions Trophy for Australia and Belgium. The early goal coming 4 minutes into Glenn Simpson for the Kookaburras. There is the goal scorer linking with Cirillo there, and a nice combination with Kavanagh. A chance for the Kookaburras to build from their own side of halfway. Fergus Kavanagh at his 5th Champions Trophy. Here's a bit of the lucky charm for the Cookers when it comes to the Champions Trophy. He's played in 4 and won 4.
He was also the guy that scored the magnificent goal in 2009 here in Melbourne on the end of a Luke Dorner overhead against Germany in the final, where he just bunted the ball over the top of the keeper. A goal that many people around the world saw and will long remember.
Oh, good slide from Wetton there. And he's a bundle of energy. Wetton getting in the face of Elliot van Strydonk. And that ball was deflected, so free hit to Belgium. Cedric Charlier, there's Jacob Wetton. Australia clearing here. Ockenden receiving a nice stick work there from Carroll, who got the touch in. One of the co-captains of the Kookaburras, Eddie Ockenden.
So important that defenders get numbers around the ball. These Belgian forwards have got some skill, lovely passing from the Australians.
That's a great release, and Simpson, he's got a man down low. That's Carroll! And he forces the save from Vincent Van Asch going high to his left. Carroll looking for the top right corner. Well, it was Russell Ford, should I say. My apologies.
And what he tried to do there, he just tried to trap that ball on the reverse and let it bounce. You'll just see, he didn't quite get the power. He almost got the hook of the stick, which actually killed the pace. And he's actually hit a lot of goals, Russell Ford, in his career on the bounce. Hit a magnificent goal in London, but just didn't quite get that the contact he wanted.
Charlier was dispossessed, gets it again, and he's got 5 Australians around him, but wins a free hit. Denayer to take it for the Red Lions, and that's dangerous. So it seems that the Belgians have settled.
Yeah, look, I think they'll be reasonably pleased how they've started. Australia, I think, have also started reasonably conservatively. They haven't been as aggressive as possibly they can be, but we've seen already the Belgians got some skill.
Van Doren, a nice tackle from Carroll. And, well, still going. John Carroll, that's a great effort to win the free hit. Quickly taken by Ford. And now here's a chance for Wilson for Australia. Got 2 against him. And beyond the back line and a 16.
Well, the free hit was taken so quickly by the Australians there. Wilson actually found he didn't have much support. Dwyer was coming on the far side, but apart from that, he didn't have a lot on. So that's that bit of play that Belgium need to be so conscious of. When Australia takes a free hit in the midfield, they can open teams up.
Oh, good skill from Hendricks here, and that's a beautiful pass. Chance for Belgium here with Dolman's ball. Kicked away by Beasley and well controlled by the Australian defence. So Beasley doing a bit of work in goal, and Belgium just starting to come at the hosts as Carroll wastes that ball downfield. Now here's Felix Denayer again for Belgium. Van Doren has got a man down low, Thomas Briels. Oh, Tristan White just gave him a shove.
He was a little frustrated that the body was being used to protect the ball, and that's one of the difficult things when you play the European side. It's the way they run with the ball.
So Briels tries to work the back line. White, good in defence early on. That ball in was pretty good, but no shot on goal. But another long corner coming up for Belgium. All players bar 3 Belgians in the attacking 25 for Belgium. And now a chance for Ford to release for Australia. Wilson the target. Timely stick, though, from Loic Leipart. Dwyer, Wilson, and now Ford. From the body of De Seidler. And here's the champ, Dwyer. Approaching 200 international goals for Australia. And a good stick from Denayer there.
Beautiful pass.
Oh, and there's a release downfield, and if he can get on it here, Alexandre Depau, well, that was the question. He just couldn't. But he was in behind the last defender. So a nervous moment there for the Australians.
It almost sums up the game so far. Belgium made sure they had 11 players back when Jamie Dwyer played that ball into the circle. Denayer made the trap, ran on an angle and just fed a lovely little through ball for the one-out high striker.
Ockenden for Mitten. And Australia to set up from outside the D. Here's Eddie's ball and into the side netting from Jason Wilson. So a tick under a quarter of an hour remaining in this opening half. And after the early surge from the Australians, it's been pretty tight stuff.
Well, I think what Belgium are doing, they're actually just keeping possession of the ball. They've got their structure worked out, and they're not giving Australia any really easy turnovers up in their attacking half. So I'd say Belgium are actually playing this game on their terms, and we know they've got skill. When they get that ball to their players, one out up high, they're giving the Australian defence some problems. So at the moment, it's pretty evenly poised, this game. It's so important, that early goal from Simpson just gives the Australians a little bit of breathing space.
No one there for Carroll, so like Leipart to take the free hit. I mentioned this is the first ever match at the Champions Trophy for Belgium. They've played in the last 2 Olympic Games, but previously to that, they hadn't been at the Olympics since Munich in 1972. So it's been a really interesting phase in the history of Belgian hockey the last couple of decades. They did actually win an Olympic medal all the way back in Antwerp in 1920. They won a bronze medal, so there is history there, but certainly in the last, well, since the 70s, they've just struggled to really rise to the international scene. And now here's a chance for Australia as Wilson's ball finds no one, and Belgium winning its place in this Champions Trophy by winning the Champions Challenge in South Africa last year, where they beat India in the final. India are a part of this 8-team tournament as well.
They didn't move the ball there off the free hit.
That's a bit of luck for Australia. Dwyer, you don't want to give him half a chance. Good defending from Van Strijdonk. His 11th Champions Trophy. Jamie Dwyer. It's extraordinary, the career that he's put together, but unable to create there for the Australians. Belgium with the side ball on their own 25.
And you'll see here, Belgium very deliberately, they are stretching their players around the park, and they'll move the ball. And that's what they're trying to do, is not allow Australia to get numbers around the ball to press.
So Van Strijdonk to Van Doren. And back to Elliot Van Strijdonk. Leipart, oh, well, not cleared. And a nice piece of skill for Australia, shown by Mitten, but, well, the flip back had no one there. So just a little loose for the Kookaburras, holding a 1-goal advantage. Gunyar. Well, Kavanagh just got his body in the right spot and allowed Knowles to clean up. And whose ball here? It's the Belgians' ball. Tryans. Oh, straight into the stick of Wilson. No part of the shin pad there, so Wilson can stroll away. He's got Dyer down low. Hoping to use some dribbling skill down the back line. The body got in the way, and the umpire says that's fair enough. 16-yard hit.
I think Jason Wilson, he's been excellent this first half for the Australians. He's really shown some life. He's made some interceptions, and he's been probably the most dangerous forward. Dwyer a little bit stiff there. I thought not to get into the corner. It's so hard these days. Umpires don't give them easily.
Buckard turns it over in midfield for Belgium, and here's Wilson again, threatening for Australia. Dwyer's down low. The stick was there from Van Doren. And he's done well to control it over the side. Swan. Oh, tripped. He's quick to get up. He's so nimble, little Matty Swan. To the back line he goes. The pass couldn't find Dwyer at the top of the D. But again, Australia loading up. The long ball hasn't got a deflection on it. Carroll looking down low for Mitten in the D.
Well, that was great work from Matty Swan, but he just needed somebody to come closer. Almost, players around almost didn't move their position.
Knowles to Wetton. Oh, beautiful skill from Jacob Wetton to the back line, and long corner.
What a pass and trap. Pass from Mark Knowles and a super trap from Jake Wetton.
Mitten to try and put it into the D again. So now some sustained pressure from the Australians. Well, Keel Brown's going to take the pass for Swan, but dispossessed. Leipart trying to get it clear. Oh, Swan's got it again. Great skill. Dribbling the back line. Matt Swan draws the penalty corner by finding a foot. He is so nippy, the 23-year-old from Mackay.
Well, Australia has needed something special. It's been driven by this guy, Matty Swan. Last couple of minutes, he's really just imposed himself on the contest, taking a couple of free hits really quickly. Just the speed of taking the free hit led to that corner.
celebrating the penalty corner almost as if it was a goal. He's not a part of the battery. He's just got a bit of a limp up as well.
He had a terrific Champions Trophy in 2009. He announced himself really on the international stage as a defender, and just on that occasion we saw him go forward, and that's one of the tactics the Australians use. They throw a midfielder forward at times just to change things up a bit.
So the goal of Van Asch to be challenged again. Wyatt to bring in. Sorello and Govers are at the top of the battery. So Australia's two main drag flickers here. Charlesworth delivering the instructions. Jay Stacey sitting next to him. It's Sorello going his own. Oh, and it deflected off the shin of a Belgian into his face, I think.
Doesn't look too good. I think he might have had a ball in the nose here. It's actually come off the runner-out's foot, so
let's have a look.
See that too often.
Into the stick. Yeah, I think it was body, then stick, and then into the face. Still on the ground. Big Chris Sorello. The Stallion's been felled.
I'm not sure the Australians are too fast yet, but that has to be a penalty corner again because the ball has been lifted into Sorello's face. I guess what the concern is.
The way he's staying down, I sense he's concerned about some structural damage for that nose, perhaps. It seemed just a little innocuous, but particularly at the penalty corner, that ball just gave us so much pace, and well, not a great way for the hometown boy to leave the pitch in the opening game of the campaign. We hope that Chris Sorello is not too seriously injured with that nasty deflection. For the time being, Rick Charlesworth has got to think of something different. He's really holding it up on the bridge of the nose there as well, which suggests there might be a bit of structural damage. So we wait to hear for news on that, but Australia has won another penalty corner. A little over 9 minutes to half-time. 1-0 to the Aussies. It's going to be Govers, and it took a deflection, and it's a free hit to Belgium.
That's very good defence from the Belgians. They got players around the keeper. They knew Australia was looking for the variation. I think they might have gone the tip in. You'll see the sticks laid down there. It got a deflection off the initial shot with the Australian foot. So you'll see here players running, stick being laid down, but the deflection actually is what put Mark Knowles off.
Yeah, defensive deflection hit Knowles on the foot, hence Belgium away, but only momentarily. Orchard down low, and nice bit of skill there from Mitten. Still Australia's ball. Just a bit of cloud cover coming across now. Well, absolutely surging defence there from Dochier, but White was able to keep it moving. Govers, that's a nice ball. Dangerous here, shot on goal, off the pad, still alive. Penalty corner. Simpson's shot saved, but lifted off the boots of the pads of Vincent Van Asch. So another penalty corner coming up for the Cookers.
Well, it's not easy when there's so many players in the circle to control the ball. I thought Mitten was about to shoot there. Simpson had the loose ball, lifted ball in the end blown against the goalkeeper. It's difficult for the attacking side, but it's also difficult for the defenders not to give away penalty corners when it's so crowded. So little time to do things, to keep the ball away from your feet, to keep it on the ground. It's not easy.
Took over 7.5 minutes left in the opening game of this 2012 Champions Trophy for Australia and Belgium. Belgium's first ever Champions Trophy match. Australia starting a campaign for a unprecedented 5th consecutive title.
This is the part of the game they really need to get right to win this tournament.
So it's Govers once more. That's saved on the follow-up. Oh, it's off the cage, and Wetton has a strike. It's another penalty corner. Well, the Govers flick was saved. Simpson's shot came off the post, and Wetton couldn't fire it home.
Well, you would have bet any money you like Australia would score here. The contact from Simpson, not flush, almost mishit it off the post, and then the follow-up from Wetton hits the foot, but Australia should have scored there. No wonder the heads are going up. It's a pretty good chance. I think Glenn Simpson's now had 2 shots in a minute. He almost have 3 goals in his first half. He's debuting in Melbourne, so important. These sort of percentages, I guess the international teams are looking to score 1 from 3. That's the sort of average that the top teams go at penalty corners.
At the moment, Australia's 1 from 6. Yet another penalty corner, a bit wider this time. Carroll down low, deflection. Wetton, yes, eventually. Wetton eventually scores and Australia doubles its lead. He had to work really hard to push it home, but he does beat Van Asch, and the Aussies go 2 ahead.
Well, here's a new character on the national scene, Jake Wetton. Another great moment there as he scores a lovely little poacher's goal, but gee, it took some work, didn't it? A number of attempts. The variation here, Carroll goes wider, tried to open up the speed. Belgium did well to defend. First shot followed up by the little tip in. In the end, it just had to go in.
Well, it was his 3rd attempt to put it in. There was a bit of post in it as well, but eventually on the reverse stick, Jacob Wetton, the Brisbaneite, putting it home to make it 2-0 to Australia. And again, it's an important little phase for Belgium to shore up and not bleed another goal before half-time in the 5.5 minutes we've got left until the break. Carroll looking for Mitten down low. Is also Orchard on that occasion the target. This is John Doman, but that's a poor piece of skill and a poor bit of awareness from Carroll as he's pilfered in midfield. Gunyar, well, he's tackled. Eddie Ockenden coming in late. So lack of ball security in that little phase. Nice touch from Gunyar, who's after it again. But Knowles, with a timely stick, wins the free hit. Seventh Champions Trophy for Mark Knowles. Looking for Ockenden downfield. Off the stick of Doman and over the side, so Ockenden takes it quickly. Wetton, geez, lively. Look at his skill and pace. He slipped over near the back line. Reckinger able to get the ball clear. Gunyar. And just pinned it home. Dolman. Van Doren. No way out immediately unless they go the long ball, and it's thumped into the back of the calf, I think, of Eddie Ockenden. We've stung a little. It's okay.
See again there, Belgium trying to stretch that press, and they've done it well. It's this next pass is so important. Australia just starting to get a few turnovers around the middle of the ground.
De Sadler going long, and that was beautifully worked from Simpson on his stick there. Now Orchard dribbling through 4 players, and it was his last touch, so Belgium's ball under 4 minutes to the break. Simpson and Wetton, the goal scorers for Australia. And Carroll working hard, but over the side it goes. The only thing that hasn't gone right for Australia in this half is the injury to the nose of Chris Cirillo. Gunyar to no one out in the deep right.
Yeah, I still think they're penalty corners, though. They would have trained a lot. You see here a bit of work from Simpson, just controlling the ball. Some of the things these players do are quite amazing. They've really got the whole range these days. They can pass on their reverse, they can jink, they can fire 50-metre passes and trap on the run.
Wetton links up beautifully with Simpson. Oh, and well, just a false step there from Wilson. He was the intended target of the pass. A chance for Belgium to get clear again. They have really been under pressure. The little flick, hoping for try-ins. But again, Australia in midfield. Orchard with the auto pass. Knowles. And going deep. Oh, beautifully trapped by Wilson. Into the D he goes. He's got a man right in front. Oh, Wetton was at the far post and should have tapped home a gift. It deserved a goal, but Jacob Wetton just couldn't find the stick.
Geez, that was superb play. The Mark Knowles pass, outstanding. The control from Wilson, fantastic. He's had a really good half of hockey. He did the right thing. He just passed across the face of goal. Wetton did the right thing and got to the right spot. Just couldn't finish. It's nearly been the story of the half. The Australians really could be 3 or 4 up here.
Simpson to set it up again. Ockenden down low. That's wild, and no chance for forward there.
See here, Wilson just fires that in for the far post, and maybe Wetton was unsighted by the goalkeeper going over the ball.
Perhaps there was half a deflection. Hard to tell with the ball moving so quickly. But What looked like a third for Australia didn't go into the back of the cage. Here's a nice little combination, but Bochard's intended tap for Denayer doesn't find him. And it allows Ford to stroll away, takes on Reckinger and gets past him. Wetton helps out, holds it up. Simpson supporting from midfield now. A more patient build-up for Australia. 90 seconds to the break. Belgium desperate to get to half-time without conceding another. Ockenden to the 25. Draws the free hit. Simpson wide for Keele Brown. Down low is Ford. Just keeps it from the back line. Now the cross. Well, there's 3 red shirts there. And Stridonk controls. Ooh, bit loose from De Sedelaar. Didn't concede the long corner. But in midfield again, there's just a golden wall. And but for the foot violation, Australia would have had control again.
Yeah, not bad bit of skill though, was it? One-handed trap and then ran with the ball with one hand dribbling. These Belgian guys technically are probably as good as any of the really top sides, the Dutch or the Germans. And it's only probably more experience at the very top level that's seen them just a bit short of the medal contention. But some of their individual players are as good as any.
Strijdonck's got Ford for company. Does find Reckinger, and he follows up well. Elliot van Strijdonck. Can't find the target down low, and Tom Bone just crashed into Keele Brown. You're better off at the MCG. That move, not here at the State Netball and Hockey Centre. Closing stages of the half, a late chance for Australia with Jason Wilson. Belgium's free hit, and that's the expiration of the first 35. You can see just some frustration there. That was De Sedelaar just slapping his stick onto his shin pad. Matty Swan's had his presence in the first half, and the Kookaburras hold a 2-0 lead over Belgium at half-time. And what did you make of it, David Wansborough?
Oh, look, it wasn't the Australians at their very best. It was a solid performance. They're against a decent opposition here in the Belgians. I think they knew that before the game. They've certainly seen it in the first half. A couple of very good early saves from George Baisley were crucial in keeping the scoreline what it is at half-time. But the Australians started to gain ascendancy. They started to get the ball moving, making a few more intercepts. I wouldn't say they're at their fluent best, but some good signs in the latter part of the half.
Certainly the home fans liking what they're seeing so far. At the half-time break, it's Australia 2, Belgium 0.
It's such a pleasure to see this medal. Can you show us the trophy that you actually received today? They've already received and had the presentation ceremony. Thank you so much for talking to us. Let's put our hands together. So very impressive. Absolute superstar of the sport and see what happens today.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, great to see a lot of people out here that are enjoying the sunshine and the competition here at the Champions Trophy Melbourne 2012. Currently, half-time match 3, Australia 2 to Belgium 0 at the moment. So that's a great match at the moment. So, ladies and gentlemen, Hockey Australia, homophobia, fair go sport. Hockey Australia and Hockey Victoria says no to homophobia and equal opportunity to the sport. Now, also, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you want to autograph from us, here's your autograph book. Head behind the massive grandstand here and go to Autograph Island. You might be able to find some superstars of the game there. So make sure you go to Autograph Island. Also, if you want to purchase
At the break in the third game of the opening day of the 2012 Champions Trophy in Melbourne, Australia, and the hosts Australia lead Belgium by 2-0. The goals coming to Glenn Simpson 4 minutes into the game, and then Jacob Wetton about 6 minutes before the break. Let's have a look at the lighter moments, David Wansborough, in the first half.
Yeah, well, there was plenty of goal-mouth action in this game. Some good saves from the Belgian keeper, and the follow-on rebound from Glenn Simpson early on was an important opener, not only for Glenn Simpson, but for the Australian team to get away to a decent start. Belgium had their chances, their moments. This one was a penalty corner fired into the leg. George Baisley made a couple of important saves, this one on his right leg. And interesting way to defend there from Kyle Brown. Chance there for Russell Ford, hit that on the bounce. Normally does it so well, didn't quite get the contact, and Matty Swan was the guy that really got the Australians going late in that first half. Simpson, I think that was his third shot for the half. Another penalty corner, this time the variation, not clinical, but in the end it just got there as Jake Wetton good enough to follow through off the post and knock it in. A little bit of skill there from Glenn Simpson. These players have really played this hockey at the highest level. Thought Jake Wetton might have had a second goal when he was on the post and just couldn't quite finish it off.
So 2-0, the major number. What do the others tell you, David?
Well, the penetrations, Australia, we didn't think they played brilliantly, but still 17 penetrations isn't a bad result, especially when the opposition only the 9, and 68% of the time the ball in the Australian half, which was pretty obvious, and the Belgians had 11 players nearly behind the ball most of that half. Penalty corners 7-2. The Australians need to make more of those in the second half.
It's not as hot as we've been saying in Melbourne today as we've had during a scorching week in the southern capital. But certainly conditions more favourable to the hosts than those that have come out of the northern winter.
I think the test will be in the second half for the Belgians if the Australians really do step up the pace, whether they can stay with them. And you'll be looking to see, I imagine, the Australians take the free hits more quickly. They'll be looking to really play on at every opportunity. They haven't really been allowed to do so. Part of that has been the way the Belgians have actually controlled the ball coming out of defence. They've really structured up well. They've stretched the ball, not allowed the Australians to press in numbers.
It's everywhere, Gangnam style. They're doing it Gangnam style here in Australia, here in Korea, everywhere around the world. Is it up to 1 billion YouTube hits yet?
Yeah, but we want to see Quinton Hull there in that crowd dancing.
No. Players returning to the pitch for the second 35 minutes. And it's Australia's Kookaburras with a 2-goal advantage. Simpson and Wetton finding the back of the cage. And David Wanzer, a big challenge for Belgium to hold fast and, well, either come back or not do too much damage in this, their first ever Champions Trophy match.
Yeah, look, it'll be an interesting test this second half because the Belgians are showing they've got plenty of skill. They're very organised. I think tactically they've got their tactics spot on. And it's just a question of whether the Australians are able to really lift the intensity and the speed at which they move the ball. The Australians have got some new players in their lineup. And I think there's a little bit of just time being taken to get used to each other. We've got a number of new players coming through the midfield. I think Jamie Dwyer will be having a chat at half-time, just trying to get his troops a bit more aggressive in taking the free hits.
And like Andrew Charter's out there in goal as well, as we have a look at the Belgians here.
Yeah, well, the Australians' tactic has been in the past to switch the keepers at half-time, especially with a tournament where there are some new players. So Andrew Charter gets his chance, and George Paisley certainly did very well in that first half.
Good scene at the State Netball and Hockey Centre in Melbourne. Not as much for the Belgians, but they're still enjoying the sun and the music. So the second half, is there a response from Belgium? Can Australia press home its advantage? Charlier gets us underway. Now the Belgians in red, attacking the right of screen. On this warm Saturday afternoon in the Victorian capital of Melbourne. Another Champions Trophy for Melbourne, just well, 3 years after it previously hosted in 2009. Since then, we've been to Mönchengladbach and to Auckland. So 3 of the last 4 Champions Trophies in Oceania, as Kavanagh and Wetton are combining here. And that's good work from the West Australian Fergus Kavanagh, but just, well, he found Dwyer. The defence closed. But Australia again on the press early in this second half. Do you think the message would have been from Graham Reid, Rick Charlesworth and the Australian coaching team?
Oh, look, I really think they would have wanted far more aggressive ball movement and quicker speed, and already they've started that way. To Belgium's credit, though, they're making sure they're getting numbers back, and they're making things difficult for the Australians. They're not getting it easy, and I think the really interesting part about this is that the Australians now have to actually work out the balance between patience and when they do need to go forward quickly. So if they can just get a third goal, what could easily happen, the game could break open. On the other hand, if the Belgians do get one back here, they're more than capable of actually winning this game. So still a long way to go.
Tryans out on the left wing, the Belgian captain, Jerome Tryans, 25 years of age. Oh, that's a poor pass, though. There's one guy you don't want to give it to, it's Jamie Dwyer, and Simpson releases Orchard through midfield. He's got Dwyer down low on the right. Doesn't go that far, it's Ford, and that's a brilliant strike from Russell Ford to make it 3. Power and precision, that was a scorcher.
It's a superb goal from the Australians. We asked the question what they'd do after half-time. Well, they've shown us. Lovely pass, and Ford just finding space. Nice lead, and the confidence to shoot from that angle and the skill to put it in the corner was superb. And you'll see there, Jake Wetton absolutely fly in, looking for the deflection. I thought he actually might have got the pass from Ford, but Ford was good enough to finish himself, and that's 2 home boys scoring at their home tournament. So great moments for them.
Well, the keeper, Vincent Van Asch, He wasn't able to move until it was past him. Such was the power of Ford's shot. I don't think the keeper thought it was going to be a direct shot on goal. Nonetheless, it's now a 3-goal lead to the Australians and a real challenge to Gunyar and his Belgian teammates. That's a good run, but 3 against him. But here's a chance for try ends. Gunyar running with him. And it's pushed in and into the goal. Well, the ball in came from Van Doren, and I wonder who got the last touch, because Andrew Charter's been beaten, and that's a quick replying goal from Belgium.
It was a terrific transfer, the way they shifted the ball to the open side, and then they've gone for the deflection here. Lovely little touch. No accident. In fact, two players.
Two of them, yeah. It was the stick of Dokier, I think, got the last touch. But, well, Bones claiming it as well. I think it was the number 9 that got the last stick.
Fair discussion, I would have thought. Both of them putting the stick near the ball, but that's a good reward for the Belgians, because they just had a demoralising goal scored against them. They were good enough to shift that ball really quickly, almost exactly what Australia does, through the middle of the ground and then to the open side. And importantly, they got players in the circle, ready and alert for the touch.
So I reckon we'll give it to Sebastian Dokier, the 22-year-old, in just his 6th international appearance. Confirmation coming through that the technical bench has indeed given the goal to the number 9, Sebastian Dokier, on the screen. Belgium again on the ball here. Just attacking side of halfway. Contest needed that.
Absolutely. Well, what they did really well, I mentioned they shifted the ball to the open side, but then they ran really hard.
Well, there's a cross, and it's another goal, and that's a much more decisive goal for Dokier that time. He didn't get a deflection for a deflection. He got the pass from Domen, and John from the back line put it on the stick of Sebastian Dokier, and that is 3-2.
Well, we talked up the Belgians being able to score goals. They've shown exactly what they can do here. That's a magnificent pass. Just a little movement just off the defender. Ball hit flat and hard, and just probably not marked quite tight enough. In fact, there were 2 Belgians in front of the net, and only 1 Australian.
Well, in the space of 5 minutes, we've seen 3 goals in this second half. Australia 3-0 ahead just a moment ago. And now it's 3-2 to the hosts, and game on.
I have to say, the whole history of Champions Trophies back to 1978, where it started in Pakistan, there's always been a lot of goals scored. There's been a lot of incredible games of hockey, and this one is living up to it.
Domen was the creator a moment ago. That pass goes behind. Long corner for Belgium. As you'd expect, the Red Lions have got a bit of bubble in their hockey at the moment. Charlier, the backline drive. But, no one in the dangerous position. It's a calm work from Australia. Orchard. And Chris Sorello's back out there, so that's good news for Australia. He's got a bit of plaster over the bridge of his nose. He went off the field in the first half after a nasty deflection when he was dragged flicking on goal, went back into his nose, so that's a positive for the Kookaburras. Oh, and a fatal slip there, is it, for Van Doren? Swan, Dwyer, now, well, it's being held up at the stick of the Australian mitten. He earns the penalty corner. And Arthur Van Doren, just going back to the start of that, charged out and slipped over and gave the Aussies the extra man.
Just thinking how well he defended the Chris Sorello flick, and a little bit unlucky because he made the intercept and just slipped on the sideline. Ball fired from Swan to Dwyer, who found Mitten, and Mitten calmly just rolled that ball into the foot. So, talk about big moments in matches. We've heard the Australians this week talk about London and watched the replay of that Olympic semi-final against Germany. They talked about certain incidents in the game needed to be done better. Well, this is a big incident in the context of this game at 3-2. Belgium with their tails up. Australia's penalty corners haven't been that convincing over the years, and this is a big moment.
And both the drag flickers are out there, Govers and Sorello. Tattoos of Kieran Govers quite recognisable. Van Arsch thumping the cage, and here's the shot on goal, and that's deflected behind for a long corner for Australia. Sorello, the man driving it towards the target. Govers puts it back in. Sorello, well, that's a stick check and should be, well, no. I thought that was going to be a whistle in favour of the hosts there, but the umpire must have seen something else. Belgium come away.
Yeah, one of those 50-50 balls. Not sure whether Sorello took too long and he impeded the tackler or the other way. Very difficult to call, but great penalty corner defence from the Belgians. So important you get out and put pressure on the striker, and so far they've done really well in this game.
And confirmation coming through that indeed Chris Sorello has got a broken nose, but he's out there. David was thinking, broken nose.
Well,
of course he'd be back out there, wouldn't she?
Yeah, but the hard part, I'm sure he's taken a couple of Panadol and he's rid of the pain, but it'll be...
It's the breathing when you're running, isn't it?
Exactly, in these sort of conditions. Pretty humid, pretty warm, so...
Here's Swan. Threatened to go deep. Wilson does go deep. Dwyer's deflection saved by Van Asch. I think he got a touch, the Australian captain.
Well, the keeper had to play it. It's so quick in there, you can't afford to let that go and concede a goal.
And Swan's ball lifted in. Here's another look. Yes,
indeed.
Very deft touch. And great piece of goalkeeping from the 24-year-old Vincent Van Asch. (3-2) Australia. This is turning into a very entertaining opening affair for these two countries in this Champions Trophy. Swan's cross seen behind by Xavier Reckinger. Long corner for the Kookaburras. Carroll. Oh, and that touch just let down Tristan White there. Belgian bench looking on. John Doman getting some instruction from the Dutchman Mark Lammers, the coach. And Denia, his skills failing him there. Govers to no one.
Interesting little patch just at the moment. The Belgians still throwing three high at the moment. They've got three sitting in the midfield. They're trying to stretch this ball around the back and open the space.
That's a nice reverse stick pass from Reckinger. But again, just the trap there. It was Bocard not able to trap. Good to see some new faces out there. Tristan White's one of them. He's in central defence here at the moment. Born in Kof Saba, but raised in Wollongong. He's 22 years of age, wearing the number 18 singlet for the Aussies. Here's Orchard, another New South Welshman. Forward with three around him. Orchard. Still. Kavanagh. And free hit to Belgium after all of that. Really swarming in defence. There's Govers on screen. De Sadler to put the ball downfield for Belgium. Red Lions just getting numbers around the Australian attackers outside the D. And that's a nice combination. Gunyar. Well, for a moment, De Pauw and Hendricks got in each other's way. Alexandre De Pauw. It's a good name for a hockey player.
They certainly have come here with some really clear tactics, the Belgians, and they're sticking to them. Now they're starting to fall away a bit more as this game gets hotter and longer. They're just starting to fall back a bit, congest the middle of the ground. And it's been working pretty well for them. The Australians are really struggling a little bit to mount any concerted attacks. We saw the last bit of the first half, they really had the ball consistently in their attacking half. Now it's Belgium's turn to really dominate possession.
A little deflection in midfield. Kavanagh cleans up for Australia. Govers out in the left. And Long for Ford. He's saying that there was a bit of a stick obstruction there, but the umpire says no, it's behind for the 16. Not happy, Russell Ford.
It's part of international hockey, though. You get marked tightly and there's not much space. You have to learn to protect yourself. Be able to win the ball under pressure.
Denia going on a run. But, well, Sorello's got plenty of time to clean up that loose pass. And now Orchard on the counter-attack for Australia. Over the 25. A man out on the right. That's good work from Mitten to the back line. A scramble and, oh, sticks and bodies everywhere. And it's gone behind the back line for a 16.
Now how's the work of Simon Orchard there? He's just a Rolls Royce. Just cruised into the circle and opened that play. Lifted ball, Kavanagh. The Australian free hit, but just beautiful work from Orchard. Just sliced through, and there's the work from Mitten. Trying to actually just take it on the back line and feed it back. Goalkeeper did well.
Like a car crash. But the Belgians survive, and it's still just the goal advantage to Australia. 3-2. A little over 22 minutes remaining in this first half after Australia had led 3-0 early in the second half. But 2 quick goals in reply from the Belgians, both coming from the stick of Sébastien Dochier. Here's Tryons, the captain, in attack. Mistimes his pass to the top of the D. Carroll comes out, but it's stolen by Guignard. He's got a teammate there. Now pushed in, and the flick goes over the bar. It was Hendricks pushing it in, and Dochier among it again.
Gee, there's a big chance for the Belgians. They had players open in the circle, 2 players lining up to score. Richard under real pressure.
There's Dochier and Chalier, the 2 there near the penalty stroke spot.
It's been really interesting. I think Belgium defensively worked very, very hard. What's been interesting when they go forward, they seem to have had a lot of space to work in. Australian defence looks a bit loose at times.
Here's a chance. Eddie Ockenden on the releasing ball. Clever work. Simpson, oh, he couldn't put it home. A little bit of pressure from Loic Leipart, but Simpson, again, a massive opportunity for the local to make it a double for him personally. Still a chance for the Kookaburras, but, well, a penalty corner now. Still a bit befuddled as to how he didn't score a moment ago, well, Glenn Simpson.
Superb bit of play from Eddie Ockenden, wasn't it? See Ockenden here make the trap. Look at the skill. Thought he was going to shoot. He knew the pass was on. Just dished it back. And just a deflection off the shot from Simpson. Enough pressure just to force it wide.
So Australia now up to its 9th penalty corner. Vincent Van Asch, the keeper, under plenty of threat. It's Joel Carroll, Mark Knowles, Glenn Simpson at the top of the battery. So, Cirillo for this penalty corner.
I think the issue so far is I don't think the push-out's been hard enough because the Belgian runner out seems to be able to get to the shooter. So they must get this ball out at speed to give the shooter as much time as possible.
That's the job of Russell Ford for the Kookaburras. It's Carroll. And the deflection goes over the top off an Australian stick, so 16-yard hit. And again, another penalty corner survived by Belgium.
Well, that was a penalty corner that worked in the first half. So a little space opened up by Carroll. He went wide. He just couldn't get the control on the deflection.
Hendricks on a good run for Belgium. Looking to try and tie it up here. Chalier with the ball in. Oh, and here's the goal scorer again. Dochier looking to put a third through. Just couldn't get a shot on goal with the Australian defensive presence around him. But they are looking dangerous, Belgium.
Well, they're finding space. They're certainly finding space in the circle. They've got such good skill and great close-in control. It's good umpiring. Let the contest go.
And Simpson not away from the clearance zone there. So Jean-Jean Domen. Stridek in the corner and brought down Van Stridonk, and that's a free hit and quickly taken by Chalier. Long corner. Now, Cedric Chalier is going to come in and set things up. 4 Australians around him. Just doesn't want to waste this ball. Goes into the circle, and what's the call? Penalty corner. Bone was there, but a penalty corner, the call from the umpire. And here's a gilt-edged chance for Belgium to level it up.
It's just been too easy for Belgium to get that reward there. There were 5 or 6 Australians. They should have defended that better, but Belgium a number of times now penetrated the circle and the penalty corners.
Just going through those minds. Charlesworth in the middle, on the right of screen, Jay Stacey, who was feted at a function during the week.
Yes, he's just joined the Australian Hall of Fame. Games record holder for Australia at the moment. 321 games. I'm sure there'll be players go past that. Jamie Dwyer's not far off at the moment, but Joe Stacey's career for Olympics, he was a magnificent player. Scored a lot of penalty corner goals for the Australian team over the years. I think they could do with a penalty corner hitter at the moment.
Yes, it is the one little chink in the Kookaburra's armour. And here's a penalty corner for Belgium to try and level the scores at 3. Bone, well, he just didn't control the first contact on his stick there, so an easy clearance for Australia, although there's a referral here. Tommy Bone, I think he's not happy with something, so we're going. Let's see if we can tune in here.
Yeah, Simon, that was a foot. I thought it was a stick. That's a foot. Looking for the penalty corner. I'll have a check for you down. Thank you.
So there's the call indeed. Tom Bone thinking there was a foot there from the Australians. Let's have a look at what the replay tells us.
Well, just as he took the shot there, looking to see whether that ball has hit the runner-out's foot as it first shot here. You'll just see as it's misdragged, the second attempt, is it onto the foot there? Doesn't look like it. I think that'll be fine from the Australians' point of view.
Slow motion, or did it go off the back? Just as the back foot was lifting, whether the toe got in. Doesn't look all that likely.
I think the one positive out of the referral is it's giving everybody a greater appreciation of how difficult the umpire's job is.
Yeah. Oh, particularly at the penalty corner, the ball moves so quickly.
Well, that's almost difficult to tell, isn't it?
I don't know whether you can actually award another penalty corner on that evidence. Waiting for the call. Mark Lummers still waiting on.
Yes, to take the decision yet. That's not polished.
Just trying to get that message through. Sounded a little scrambled, I think. It's almost a bit like Earth to Mars at the moment.
So it looks like the players have made their mind up, doesn't it? They've got themselves in positions, and both Belgian and Australian players think that it's an Australian hit.
Everybody knows it's not bad.
Here we go. Well, if the umpire's hearing what we're hearing, no wonder there's a delay, because...
Over decision, there's no foot. There's no foot.
There we go.
No reason to change your decision. No foot. Okay.
No foot. After a lot of blips and blurps. No penalty corner. And Australia was in possession, racing downfield. They're going to have a bully, are they? Yeah, bully at the 25. And quite sportingly, Tom Bone just gives it back to the Australians. So we can get back underway. So no referral for Belgium now on the back of that turn down. 17 minutes to play. Australia 3, Belgium 2. On a warm Saturday afternoon at the State Netball and Hockey Centre. Well, warm by general Melbourne context, not by this week in Melbourne's context. Ockenden just unable to trap. If you're just tuning in, Simpson and Wetton, the goal scorers for Australia in the first half. It was 2-0 to the Aussies at the break. It quickly became 3-0 as Russell Ford put home a scorcher, but then 2 goals in 2 minutes for Belgium. Both off the stick of Sébastien Dochier has us at 3-2 with, well, a quarter of an hour and change to play in the game. Knowles and Ockenden combining. A nice touch there from Domen. A turnover in midfield. DePaul linking with Denaya. And a fluent move downfield here for Belgium. There's Domen. And unfortunately, Alexander Hendricks, well, for a moment looked like he'd lost control. Still alive, and penalty corner won by Belgium again.
And what they did really well there, they won the ball in the midfield, and as soon as they did, their high strikers started moving around up high. They caused the defence all sorts of confusion, and they were able to find a forward in the circle quite easily. And then they ended up scratching around for a penalty corner, but they're finding free strikers in space. Just because they are shifty and working off the ball, and it's giving the Australian defence plenty of problems. So you have to say this game has nearly been an even contest, certainly in terms of opportunities and chances. It's really gone in ebbs and flows. The last 5 or 10 minutes has been all Belgian. When Australia hit that third goal, it almost looked like the contest was over, but you just get the feeling there's a few more twists and turns to come. And in a tournament like this, where there's 8 teams, they're pretty evenly matched, the difference between winning and drawing is quite significant in terms of where you finish in the competition.
Well, this being an 8 teams champions trophy, we do have quarterfinals, and all teams do play at least to that phase.
That may test my theory a little.
On
yes.
seedings at least, yeah. I know where we're going, but it's a bit of a controversial one, that, but we get what you're talking about. Variation, well defended by Australia, but another penalty corner. It was Matt Swan getting down low. His body got in the way. But still, that was a good piece of work as they went to work the low post there.
They actually ran someone across Matty Swan for the almost the dummy. And they were looking for Domen from the push-out to go back to him, but Matty Swan managed to get in the way. So, play a lot of indoor hockey, the Belgians. I'm sure they've got plenty of variations in their armoury. A lot of numbers on the battery, so this is a really big play. Big play for Andrew Charter in the goal too. He needs to make sure he's got his defence where he wants them. They would have watched the video. They'd have certain run-out formations.
Once again for Belgium, and miscontrolled by Hendricks. Still a shot on goal. Charter has to kick it away. It was on target from Van Doren, but disappointing there from the Belgians. And on the quick release, Jamie Dwyer's a chance to show some skill at the top of the D. The champ, he's denied there by De Sadler. Still a chance for Australia. Free hit just outside the D. Cirillo looks to move it quickly. He's got a broken nose, but he's back out in battle. And now back to midfield for the composed build-up.
Gee, that was a good tackle on Jamie Dwyer. He's so good at turning defenders, and they didn't fall for it. He did the right thing, and he moved the defender one way, went to pull back, but the defender kept his composure.
Knowles finds his brother-in-law. And here's Cirillo, but dispossessed. Well, more so lost it, and Hendricks now, along with Van Doren. Pass downfield, and Hendricks finding the body of the Australians there. There's a real evenness about this contest now. If not, just a tinge of red about it in the last 5 minutes. The Red Lions of Belgium coming at the Kookaburras of Australia.
And they're throwing players forward. They're certainly not coming here to draw. They're going after this game.
Controlled deep in the corner. Reckinger. Oh, good work from Knowles to come away. Takes the auto pass. And good work from Govers coming up from defence to help out. But Dwyer's there. And he's got time to have a slip. Oh, but put that on the tape. You very rarely see a skill level error like that from Jamie Dwyer. Van Doren looking to link up with Briels. And this is a really aesthetically pleasing game of hockey right now. Punch and counter punch.
Certainly have noticed the players slipping over quite a bit on this pitch. They talked before the game there was some issues with the slipping over to a degree. We've seen players on both sides, especially at full pace.
Briels, that's good work in tight. Domen, Trines, and a little deflection there. Gougnard just couldn't find anyone, but it is a free hit to Belgium. Trines tapped in by Domen. He's appealing for a free hit, but the umpire said nobody there. Clearance from Australia. The Belgians will have the ball from halfway. Tomorrow, Australia take on the Netherlands, and then later on in this group, it's Belgium to face Pakistan. And earlier today, the Netherlands coming from a goal down to beat Pakistan 3-1. Another game seen earlier today. New Zealand, the Black Sticks had a good crack at Germany late in the game, but the Olympic gold medalists got away with the victory. Here's Van Strydonk. A couple around him. Wins the free hit. Sustained pressure for Australia to soak up here. The Red Lions looking for an equaliser. And Strydonk, well, eventually dispossessed, and Ockenden can stroll away for Australia. The Tasmanian is going to win the auto pass for the stick check, is he? Well, the umpire said, no, I played advantage, and then you tapped it over the side. He's not happy, Eddie, because it's still going to be Australia's ball.
Well, I think he also heard you say stroll away. I don't think he's ever strolled. He goes about 140 mile an hour. Well, he looks like he lopes, doesn't he?
Well,
but
I suppose class players look like they have time, don't they? It's a good point. It's not a term used in detriment.
No, he and Simon Orchard have that amazing ability. They don't look like they're really trying to.
Matty Swan looks like he's going quickly.
And Jamie Dwyer, I think the short leg thing. But Hocking and Orchard, certainly two of the quickest players. The way they carve through that midfield is it's great to watch.
Yes, more a term used out of respect and wonderment at the skill of the players. Dwyer with the cross. But vacant D, apart from Mitten, but the pass was behind him. 10 to play. Australia 3, Belgium 2. An entertaining opener for these two countries at the 2012 Champions Trophy.
Yeah, well, look, it's an interesting little period here because Belgium seem to be dictating terms, keeping possession. The Australians are really struggling to get much of the ball. And as a result, because they haven't had the ball that much when they do get it, they're almost a bit anxious and probably not quite their usual classy self.
This is Reckinger, Xavier Reckinger. 28-year-old with a long ball. Oh, and a bit of a loose trap from Carroll. And, gee, Lockyer was lurking behind him there in the D, looking to pilfer any crumbs. Now Orchard working quickly through midfield. He's got Jacob Wetton. Wetton's pass, looking for Dwyer. Tapped away by Van Doren. Dwyer's on it again. Working the back line, Jamie Dwyer back to the dangerous position. Shot on goal saved. Still at the stick of the Australians. It's at the stick there of Mitten, and he wins a penalty corner.
Well, it was good work from Simon Orchard, which is talking about his pace. Not only the pace, but the ability to make a decision running at speed. Just held the ball, had a beautiful pass, and that's what resulted in the ball getting to Mitten. He's been pretty good in the circle, Trent Mitten. He's had to make a few decisions there. Does he shoot, or does he work the corner twice now in this half? He's been calm enough and composed to win the penalty corner.
Did you play with his dad?
I did. He was an outstanding hockey player.
Yep, Grant, who
on the right wing.
And his grandfather also played for Australia.
Don, he did, and Grant scored one of the goals of the World Cup in 1986 at Willesden, where he bounced the ball over the keeper, which I'm sure he hasn't forgotten. Probably still goes to bed every night thinking of that goal.
Australian David Wansborough with us in commentary as Australia set up for this, their 10th penalty corner, of which they've scored from 2. Dwyer's delivery, and the shot is in. That's a powerful low flick from Cirillo, slamming into the backboard to double Australia's advantage. Broken nose and all, the local Chris Cirillo finds the backboard.
So important to score penalty corners because they just demoralising for the opposition and such a lift for the home team. When you've had so many, you really do need to get one to get some reward for your effort. This was a really powerful low flick. For the goalkeeper, they're not sure is it going high or low. They've got to hold their commitment, try and pick which way it's going. When it comes at that speed, it's so hard to get down in time. So brilliant penalty corner from Chris Cirillo.
It alleviates the pain personally and also a bit of the nervousness, I think, collectively for Australia, with the man with a broken nose finding the backboard. 4-2 Australia, and now it's going to take something really special from Belgium to get a share of the points here. John Doman. Out to the right for De Seidler. And, well, good to see a patient build-up here, despite the urgent situation from Leipart, but that's a poor pass. And maybe Australia can put on a few party tricks late now. Govers, watch out, here's Jamie Dwyer. Oh, dear me, he doesn't miss many of those, but he didn't find the target. And you can see the disappointment on his face. The fact that he didn't force a save there is probably the bigger issue than the fact that it didn't go in.
He knew what he wanted to do, and he just had to get the shot in at the top of the circle. There's a bit of skill involved in that, having to just time it to hit it before the defender got to it, just an inch offline. Beautiful pass from Cirillo, just that ability to throw a 30-yard pass effortlessly.
Oh, Dwyer, Mitten, beautiful work, Mitten.
Wasn't that sharp.
Oh, Orchard a part of that. He was too quick for words, the movement. Well, and, well, Charter's a long way from goal there. So it's a bit of Melbourne victory soccer skill to kick that one away. Denier. And now that's a good work from Tryans. Here's a chance on the reverse stick. Charter's there to parry away the shot from John Doman. It's got to come now for Belgium if they are to try and haul in too quickly. Gunyar, not happy.
But again, they did that really well, that transfer through the central midfielder, and then just split the ball out wide here. Charter did well. They had the angle covered and got a good view of it. In the end, pretty comfortable save.
Oh, Mark Knowles. Dear, oh, dearie me. Not a good moment for the veteran. Charlier wins the free hit. Tick over 5 minutes for the Red Lions to find 2 to equalise. And that's better from Knowles. He'll feel better about himself there with that fine piece of defensive skill. Ford dumps it to safety. To Sadler to set things up for Belgium. No one coming at him. Gunyar. Oh, we had 4 Australians around him. One of them pushed him over. That was Orchard from behind. Felix Denayer. Down low to Charlier. Nice skill. That's a good persistence from Joel Carroll. Well, we've got some entertainment, David. That's one point we can talk about from this game. And Belgium have shown us some good skill, the Aussies. Oh, that's a great release from Ford to Matt Swan, basically one-on-one. He decides to link up with his teammates. What a save! Vincent Van Aert covering himself in glory there, outnumbered as, well, the Australians looked like they had a goal at their mercy. That's a brilliant piece of goalkeeping.
Yeah, well, I think Matty Swan was indecisive there. He thought he might shoot, knew he had a player on his inside, which is very unselfish, but could easily have shot. Yeah, it was good goalkeeping to cover that ground so quickly.
And interesting, Wilson thought he had the keeper beaten and he just tried to really nurse it in on the reverse stick. Didn't go for the big tomahawk or the strong hit. Just tried to push it into the back of the goal. 4-2 Australia with 3.5 left. Next up, we get to see England and India to close out day 1 of the 2012 Champions Trophy. Here's Doman. It's a pretty good ball. Lockyer. In fact, that was Denayer, and now Van Doren out to the left. Denayer's got Simpson in his face. Oh, he did very well. Denayer able to get it into the circle. Knowles, Swan into the foot, and Matty Swan takes the auto pass. And the goal here just makes it interesting for a little moment. Gunyar, if Belgium can get one. Oh, good work from Gunyar. That's Belgium's ball from the side. Takes it quickly, dribbles in, and Knowles well placed. Wilson, that's a good ball. Ford will get on this. Perhaps a chance to dazzle late in the game. Russell Ford driving the back line, draws the keeper out, and again Vincent Van Aert did very well to put himself in the right spot.
Well, he's an amazing dribble of the ball, Russ Ford. He loves just to jink the ball and keep it on his stick, and I think this time he's actually looking either to jink the keeper, just holding the ball on his stick, and he did. He actually went to lift it and then knock it over the keeper. It was only the helmet that kept that ball out from going in, so amazing play there. He was almost happy to run the ball along the back line with no angle, knowing exactly what he wanted to do.
And David, what have you taken out of this first appearance of these two teams?
Oh, I think Belgium are going to win some hockey games here. They are a classy side. I don't think Australia's been at their best, but I think a lot of the credit needs to go to the Belgian side. They've been organised, not only defensively, but going forward, they've been really dangerous. So I'll be very surprised they don't really trouble some teams. They're a high-quality outfit. I thought so at the Olympic Games, but they've probably been better again here. The Australians, I think they'll definitely have had a reasonable workout, but knowing they need to lift the standard again as they go through the tournament.
Well, they can't buy a soft start to a big tournament. Belgium playing the 4-time defending champions in their backyard here to start this Champions Trophy. And as you mentioned, at the Olympics they were impressive, but played Germany and the Netherlands in their first 2 games. And they were the only 2 games that they lost in that tournament. So Kavanagh's there to repel that raid. So inside the final minute. Ford looking to find Wetton there, but there's Jamie Dwyer. Well, he's wetting his whistle. His work's done for the day. 11th Champions Trophy. Amazing. To have played at the top level for such a long time.
Yeah, look, it hasn't been his most memorable day, but he's still been terribly dangerous and he's been involved in lots of the plays, so he'll just get better and better throughout this tournament. Mark Knowles will as well. Eddie Ockham's been pretty good today, but the Australians been a good tune-up in some ways to play a high-quality opponent. They'll know what they need to do and they know they need to improve.
Oh, Swan to Ockenden, looking for a fifth, the Australians. Denied by the Red Lions. They're certainly continuing to build. They've shown that they are going to be a force among the 8 teams here at the Champions Trophy. But on day one, the 4-time reigning champs have picked up the 3 points. The Kookaburras are too good at home. Belgium's first match at a Champions Trophy showed good pluck to come from 3-0 down to fight back to 3-2. But at home, the favourites doing as expected by winning the match. It's Australia 4, Belgium 2. And that was a good 70 minutes of hockey, David Wandsworth.
Oh, look, it's an outstanding demonstration of hockey from both sides. I think all credit to the Belgians. We knew they'd come here with some skill and some technique, and they certainly also had some great tactics. They played very, very well. I thought Australia were pretty good, but with plenty of room to improve. Some of the newer players for Australia I thought were really impressive today. I thought Glenn Simpson did well, and certainly Jason Wilson in that first half particularly had a real impact. So some really good signs for the Australians with still room to get better, but this tells you this tournament's going to be very even.
So the teams sharing pleasantries on what's turned out to be a warm but not oppressively hot Melbourne day. But the hockey from the hosts good enough to get past the European visitors. A fine 70 minutes of hockey, but the Australians beat the Belgians 4-2. And well, we saw that the keepers switched at half-time for Australia. A couple of really good goals. The third goal in particular, the finish from Russell Ford, was one of the moments that I'll remember from the game. Get to the highlights in a moment.
Yeah, I think Russell Ford has really announced himself at the Olympic Games. He came in late as a replacement, but since then he's just flourished. He looks a guy ready. He's 28 years of age, but he really looks hungry, and certainly his skill level is good. His fitness is terrific, and now he looks mentally confident out there. He's willing to try things, and the goal he took was a high-class goal.
So 4-2, it finished to Australia. And a chance to look at those goals among the other highlights in this second Pool B match. 4-2 Australia.
Penalty corner here. The Australians had trouble all day, and none of them were clean. Didn't get many shots that were easy. This one from Simpson early was a tomahawk that eventually got there. This one from Jake Wetton was a rebound that was saved a couple of times, and what a moment for him to score in a Australian Champions Trophy. Russell Ford's goal, beautiful finish, hitting low and hard. An equally good goal from the Belgians. They got players into the hot spot, 3 or 4 of them there queuing up. And this one again, only the one Belgian near the ball this time, but good enough to get the deflection. Dwyer unlucky with a little touch there and a good save. Just wasn't quite Jamie Dwyer's day. And importantly for Sorello's confidence and the Australian team's confidence, he managed to squeeze one in late with a powerful flick.
Pretty good job for a guy with a broken nose. 16 shots to 4 in total for Australia, and almost double the time inside the D.
Yeah, well, that's the story of most stats when Australia plays. They create a lot of opportunities, and today they perhaps didn't convert as many as they might have. But penalty corners is probably the big one for me. 10 penalty corners, and really only that one Chris Sorello looked like scoring, and they'll need to work on that at training outside of game time.
So the Kookaburras, too good for the Red Lions. 4-2. The fans enjoying the first up display from the hosts as they quest for a 5th straight Champions Trophy. The Cookers 4, the Red Lions 2.